Hello and welcome to L. Taylor Guitar. Today we will be looking at basic open chords. This video is intended as one of your first guitar lessons, so I'm going to be taking things quite slow and explaining things in a little more detail than I usually would. There's another video on basic chord theory, which I will be linking to at the end of this video, and that will go into even more detail. So all you really need to know to get started is that a chord is a selection of notes played simultaneously. Chords make up the basis of pretty much every piece of music ever. So let's take a look at our first chord diagram. So welcome to the blue land of animated music theory. Here is a diagram for the E chord. The horizontal lines represent the frets on your guitar, the vertical lines represent the strings. So if I put up a guitar next to this and was asked to play this fret, that's the second fret on the high E string, you would do this. Yeah, so let's quickly recap the names of the strings just in case you don't know them. The deepest string, and as we're looking at it, that's the one on the left, is E. Next is A, then D, G, B, and E. The high E is sometimes written as a lowercase e so we can tell them apart. This doesn't actually get as confusing as you might think. Now the dots in this area where the chord name is represent open strings. That means you play the string without any fingers on its frets. In this example, the low E, the B, and the high E strings are all open, so I don't need to do anything with those other than pluck them. You'll see this a bit better when I go through the chords in a moment. So this is an A chord. In this instance we have a muted string as indicated by the X. So that means you either ignore the string and just don't play it, or you force yourself to not play it by muting it somehow. Again, I'll show you how in a moment. Some chord diagrams will include fingering directions, i.e. which fingers to use on which strings. I found over time that this can vary depending on the size of a student's hand and where their specific strengths are. I'll go through each chord now and show you which fingers I'm using, but I've left these directions off the charts for clarity's sake. So C major looks like this and sounds like this. So let me go through the strings in order. The first string, the E, isn't playing anything, so that's why there's a little X there. I'm actually muting this with my thumb. So if your hands are big enough, try and wrap your thumb around and mute it. If not, don't worry, you've just got to be more careful about what strings you actually do play. So finger number 3 is on the 3rd fret of the A string. Yep. Finger number 2 is on the 2nd fret of the D string. The G string is open. And then your first finger is on the 1st fret of the B string. And also the high E is open. And then thumb muting that. So you heard when I strummed that there's a little sound which is me playing the muted string. You can just not play the E string at all. So you're just playing the top 5 strings. Fab. Next chord is G major, which looks like this and sounds like this. A lovely bright sounding chord there. Now this one, I've got finger number 2 on the 3rd fret of the E string. I have finger number 1 on the 2nd fret of the A string. The middle 2 strings are open. And then I have finger number 3, this is on the 3rd fret of the B string. Finger number 4 is on the 3rd fret of the E string, so all together. Fab. So next we have E major, looks like this, sounds like this. So the first string, the E, is open, and then I have finger number 2 on the 2nd fret of the A string. Finger number 3 is also on the 2nd fret of the D string. Finger number 1 is on the 1st fret of the G string, and then the B and E are open. E minor, keep your hand where it is for the moment. All you're going to do is take your first finger off. like that. So that's open, second fret, open, open, open. One of the easiest chords, the easiest chord on that list for sure. Now we've got A major. So A, you don't play the E string, so I'm muting it or just not playing it, up to you. A string is open, first finger is on the second fret of the D string, second finger is on the second fret of the G string, third finger is on the second fret of the B string, and you're going to play the open E at the top as well. Fab. A minor is a similar shape, but you've got to change your hand position. So nothing on the E string, A string is open, second finger, second fret of the D string, third finger, second fret of the G string, first finger, first fret of the B string, and then the high E string is open. Now you'll notice this is actually the same shape as you were playing for E major, but up an entire string. Last two chords, this is D major, it sounds like this. You're only playing 4 strings, nothing on the E string, nothing on the A string. D string is open. You've got your second finger on the second fret of the G string. Your third finger is on the third fret of the B string, and your first finger is on the second fret of the E string. Lastly, D minor, you can play this again just by shifting the high E string down, so your first finger down 1. So that's nothing, nothing, open, 2, 3, 1. So there you go, those are all the chords you need to get started. What do you do now? Play them loads and loads. Start off by playing each chord 1 string at a time and listening out for any dead notes. So a dead note is one that you should be hearing but you can't for some reason. You'll probably hear like a percussive click, like when I demonstrated mutes earlier. So what you've got to do is pick out where that specific string is and then look at where your fingers are around that string. Chances are you will be ever so slightly just touching a string with the side of a finger or something. So try and readjust your hand in order to not do that. So then you've got to practice swapping between chords, and you're going to pick up to 4 different ones and just practice going from one to the other to the other to the other. One thing that will help you is looking out for fingers that shouldn't have to change, so you can change around them, and that will just cut your workload down. For instance, if you go back and look at the A minor and C major chords, there's actually only one finger that moves. I'm not going to tell you which, I'll let you work that one out. So lastly, if you're curious about the theory I was talking about today, this video here will go through basic chord theory. So why it is that the notes are the notes we're using, what all those different colours mean, and the difference between major and minor chords, all sorts of fascinating things like that. If you have not subscribed already, I would be immensely appreciative if you would go do that now. Also, likes and comments are well good, so thanks for those. Yeah, so goodbye and good luck in your adventures with open chords. Bye.